There are truths women will never say out loud. Not to their best friends, not even to the man lying next to them at night, the one who promises forever. These hidden patterns explain why she chases the attention she claims she doesn't want, why she seems to forget your devotion overnight, why she tests you just when everything feels peaceful.
None of this comes from hate.
It comes from finally seeing the invisible, the unspoken undercurrent that's ruled your life, whether you realized it or not. Because until you see it, you'll keep walking into the same emotional traps, tripping over mysteries that were always there, just never named. Stay with me, brother. Because once you swallow these 7 unsaid truths, every date, every relationship, every heartbreak you've ever known will make more sense than you ever believed possible. First, she craves attention, even from men she'd never want to touch. It's not just your focus she wants, it's attention itself. From everyone, from anywhere. A glance from a stranger, a smile at the coffee shop, a comment on a social feed, a good morning text from some guy she'd never dream of dating.
It isn't about desire, it's about validation.
It's proof that the world still sees her, that she's still relevant, still magnetic, still valuable. For a woman, attention is the oxygen that fuels her sense of worth, the quiet hit she needs to keep her insecurities in check. Meanwhile, men trip on this all the time. We see her reply to some guy she said she didn't even like, and we interpret that as betrayal, as flirtation. But half the time, it's not sexual, it's appetite. An appetite for being seen, being validated. That little spike of notice, that small dopamine rush, it keeps the self-doubt from crawling out of the dark. Attention is her background addiction. It's the untold parallel to our own internal drive for achievement, for conquest, for feeling like we matter. Think about it. A man is fueled on pursuit, on measure, on purpose. He wants results. She, whether she admits it or not, wants attention. Every kind word, every glance, every reaction feeds her ego for a moment, keeps the primal fear of invisibility at bay. And that's not evil. It's just nature. But there's the trap. The more you chase her attention, the less of it you'll get. Because the instant you start competing for her eyes, checking up on who's commenting, prying into her messages, stressing over her likes, you lose the gravity that attracted her in the first place. You move from being a man on his mission to a man orbiting her validation, and she will always be more attracted to the man she orbits. Remember this, validation is borrowed energy.
Agency, self-direction, the orbit of your own path, that's true power.
When you stop running circles around her, she finds herself circling you. Second, she will try to change you, and if she succeeds, her desire dies. It starts so sweet, suggestions, gentle nudges, a why not try this haircut, a that shirt fits your style, a you should stand up for yourself more in meetings. We think this is love, trying to help us become better men, and sometimes it is. But underneath, it's often not about improvement. It's about proof of influence. She wants to know, can she move you?
Can she shape you?
Are your boundaries real, or can she mold you into her ideal vision?
Here's the cruel irony.
The more easily she can change you, the more bored or restless she becomes. Because what attracted her, what stirred desire, was never the finished product. It was the process, the challenge, the tension of your resistance.
Masculine edge.
She wants to feel your edges, your spine. She wants to crash into your no as much as your yes. And when you start sanding those edges smooth, when your flame grows predictable and soft, her desire cools. She might even beg for certain changes and then lose respect for you the moment you change. I've watched man after man lose himself piecemeal like this. They think that saying yes is love, that surrendering their center will mean peace. But peace built on surrender is rot. It breeds resentment from both sides. As Jung put it, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. If only one side transforms, the chemistry dies. That's why the woman who once said, "I love how confident you are," later sighs, you've changed.
You're not the man I met. The irony is, he gave her exactly what she claimed to want.
And it withered the mystery. So here's the real question. Are you the man she was drawn to, or just the version she whittled away until nothing sharp remained? If you let her sculpt your edge down to nothing, one day you'll wake up and not recognize yourself, only to hear her say,
I'm just not attracted anymore. You'll blame her.
but it's the vanishing of polarity that kills desire, and you both created it. When the electric current between opposites dies, so do attraction, respect, passion. It all dissolves into grey. Third, she forgets the good faster than the bad. Every man blindsided by a breakup says the same line, but I did everything for her. He was there for her worst days. He pushed for her dreams. He protected her, listened, supported, gave his time, his money, his hope. But the day things break, it's like none of it ever existed. Why? Because men and women remember differently. We tally actions.
They remember emotions. Our love is a record of what we've done.
Theirs is a story made from what they feel, and the last feeling always rewrites the story. To a woman, emotional memory is quicksand. What she's feeling now is her truth. The night you held her, the jokes that made her laugh for hours, the years of showing up and saving the day, can all be swept away in a storm of a single argument, a rough week, a moment of distance. One cold reply is enough for her body to forget a year of loyalty.
You'll think it's cruel, but it's not.
It's just how her nervous system works. The strongest feeling is always the most real. The past fades in the tide of the present. I once knew a man who worked his soul to the bone for his woman. He built their life, bent over backwards, lifted her when no one else would. But when he lost his job and months of stress followed, her patience disappeared. The day she said, "You've changed," what she meant was, "My emotional weather changed." She loved him, but her love got rewritten by new stress. For her, safety is emotional first, stability second. When her feelings dry up, loyalty does too. That is why sacrifice does not buy security. You cannot love your way into permanence. You can't stack up years of devotion to guarantee tomorrow's affection. Women live in the now, and if today isn't alive, yesterday may as well never have existed. Harsh?
Maybe, but that's the emotional logic at work, a different kind of mathematics.
The equation is always recalculating for the present. That's why the best thing you did fades, replaced by the way you make her feel today. If the warmth has disappeared, if excitement is gone, if you're just roommates now, the ledger resets.
It's not personal.
It's the way she's built to survive and choose the best chance of thriving in her world. You can see it in 1,000 small moments. The grand romantic gestures you pulled off last month, the compliments you offered, the times you were rock steady, those things may matter to you, but she experiences love as a living, breathing energy. It renews or erodes every day. So when a woman appears to forget all the good, she's really rewriting her inner script based on today's feeling. Long ago, back when feelings meant danger or safety, this wiring kept her moving toward the strongest source of security and fulfillment. That wiring hasn't vanished. It just wears modern clothing now. So understand, sacrifices are noble.
Commitment is good.
But don't ever confuse your provision for a guarantee. In her mind, love is the present tense, not a prize for past performance. Fourth, she wants a man who leads, even if she sometimes pushes back. This is where many modern men collapse. We've been told, just let her lead, let her decide, give her authority, and she'll be happy. But experience teaches otherwise. The more you surrender your direction, the more you try to keep her happy by submission and avoiding risk, the less respect you earn. You might win the argument, you might avoid a fight, but you lose something deeper. Her trust that you can truly hold the frame. You'll see this in her words. She'll say she wishes you'd just decide or ask, "Why can't you be more assertive?" Inside, she's subconsciously searching for your center. She doesn't want dominance, she wants direction. True leadership isn't barking orders, and it's not about macho posturing. It's the quiet gravity that says, "You can relax. Now, I've got this. Even if you spin, I remain steady." Whether she realizes it or not, that's what safety feels like to her nervous system. Here's the paradox. She might resist, argue, and test your boundaries. She may even seem to want control. But when you yield the wheel for too long, when you let her set the course for the partnership, something in her tightens. She might love you still. She might even stay. But the magnetic pull that drew her in will fade. She wants to feel your backbone, not your bend. She wants to trust your strength more than her temporary moods. I've seen many men misunderstand and shrink, thinking peace equals making her happy at any cost. They agree to everything. They hope to avoid every wave, but in doing so, they confirm her secret fear. If I am the anchor, what happens if I sink? Who will hold me then? In relationships, peace built on giving up your power isn't real peace. It's only the quiet before a different kind of storm.
Ask yourself honestly, brother, are you leading with your vision, setting the direction of your life, even inviting her to be part of it? Or are you letting her moods, her emotions, determine not only tonight, but your very character? Because
if you're not taking up that responsibility, she will. And when she does, resentment and restlessness are never far behind. Fifth, she doesn't always want the brutal truth. Let's be real. She asks you a question. How do I look? Do you still love me? Do you think about other women? And you freeze, thinking honesty is always the answer. We're told by culture that authenticity trumps everything, but the reality is more nuanced. She absolutely doesn't want lies, but she doesn't want truth served like a sledgehammer either. She craves strength in your honesty. Can you tell the truth without using it as a weapon or a shield? Can you calibrate your words, hold your own emotional control, and offer truth wrapped in security? Men who believe honesty means saying anything, any way, at any time, often create more damage than they realize. Because a woman's emotions are sensitive to delivery, a careless word feels like a cut, even if your intention was noble. True masculine composure is being able to speak truth in a way that steadies her, not shatters her. It's being able to reassure without simply flattering, showing that you're trustworthy, not just blunt. That's not about sugarcoating. It's about wielding your honesty with matching strength and care. As the Greek philosopher Epictetus said, it's not what happens, but how you react that matters. With her, it's not just the fact, it's the frame. The same truth delivered with grounding confidence will be respected. Thrown like a dagger, it only leaves wounds that don't heal. So, ask yourself, do you want to be right, or do you want to be effective? Do you speak for validation, or do you speak to elevate? In the end, her respect grows not from your harshest words, but from your steadiest presence. Sixth, she is always testing you, even if she doesn't realize it herself. Most men miss this entirely. The strange arguments from nowhere, the emotional outbursts that don't match the facts, the distance after a tiny mistake. These are not random, not irrational. They are almost always unconscious tests. Can you hold it together when I can't? Can you stay solid when I fall apart? She won't ever say these words out loud, but every storm, every stress, every overreaction is a question. Is this man's strength real, or is it just for show? If he flinches under pressure, if he apologizes just to make her stop, if he tries to logic her away from her feelings, she learns, on a level deeper than thought, that she can't relax. into his frame. She might not leave, but she'll never rest. She doesn't even realize she's doing it. Her subconscious is searching for containment, a safe container that can absorb her chaos without breaking. Arguments over nothing, tears that overflow, coldness after an innocent remark. These are her system's way of finding out if you can weather life's inevitable tempests, not just hers. For if you can't withstand her emotional intensity, what hope do you offer when the real storms hit? Men who react, defend, or collapse fail these tests. They think logical arguments can calm her, but stability is what passes the test, not logic. She wants to know if you can witness her emotion without being swept away by it, if you can be the shore that doesn't give in to the rising tide. I've seen men who once begged for peace, who would say anything to end the episode, turn the entire relationship around the first time they held their ground, stayed silent, and waited out the storm. Suddenly, the energy changes. She softens because she realizes, consciously or not, that she finally has permission to rest, that the emotional burden is not just on her. That steadiness is the anchor she's been desperate for. And always. Remember, she's not seeking a perfect man. She's seeking a man who won't shatter in the storm. Now here's the last secret. The one that glues all the others together. The truth few men see until it's too late. Seventh, she is always reaching for more. And that more never fully arrives. You could pour your energy, your time, your love, your attention, your very soul into her, and somehow the wanting remain. This isn't greed or malice. It's not about her being ungrateful or broken. It's about her design, about what evolution built into her nervous system, the drive for progress, the hunger for feeling, the craving for the sense that something is just ahead, just possible, just worth moving toward. Women are, at the deepest level, wired to seek growth, to follow the pulse of more. More safety, more connection, more excitement, more certainty, more adventure. If things feel stagnant, if the relationship plateaus, her system itches for movement. She'll reach for more reassurance, more affection, more proof, more hope. Sometimes it looks like restlessness or neediness. In truth, she's listening to a primordial signal. Things that stop growing start dying. The tragedy comes when a man mistakes that drive for discontent. He thinks, I'm not enough, I need to give more, I need to fill the gap. So he starts running faster and harder, sacrificing his own needs, pouring himself out in an effort to be enough. I've watched men make their partner's happiness their life's mission, every weekend planned around her pleasure, every apology first from his lips, every dream refigured as hers. But no matter how much they give, it's never enough. The bucket never fills. Here's the brutal irony. The more desperately you try to make her happy, the less she respects you. Because you become a servant to her moods, not the steward of your own purpose. She can never feel alive beside a man who sacrifices his own mission just to feed her need. Providing is noble, protecting is strong, but pouring yourself empty is how you become a ghost. You think giving her everything will buy loyalty, but what she truly craves is a man who is whole, fulfilled in himself, and inviting her into a world that is alive because he is alive.
A woman cannot be fulfilled by a man who empties himself for her sake. She cannot feel safe with a man whose only anchor is her happiness. The masculine vessel must have its own keel, its own direction, or the whole ship drifts. This isn't just theory, it's bone-deep reality.
Relationships, marriages, even casual dating all crumble when one partner becomes the entire project, abandoning their own evolution. You can spend a lifetime trying to fill her emotional bucket. The problem is that bucket has no bottom. Not because she's broken, but because her sense of meaning is tied to movement. The moment growth stops, comfort feels like suffocation. So she reaches for more, sometimes gentle, sometimes wild. If you keep giving, hoping to reach enough, you eventually run yourself dry. If you make her contentment your oxygen, you forget how to breathe on your own. That's how so many men lose their joy, their sense of purpose, their very edge, and don't realize until she's gone.
And emptiness is all that remains. Remember, the masculine attracts by fulfillment, not by desperation.
You don't win respect by chasing her satisfaction. You earn it by chasing your own mastery, your own mission. She may never say it aloud, but it's the silent gravity at work in every real relationship. This doesn't mean every woman is the same. Not every woman will act on every pattern. Not all will test to the same degree. But you will see these themes everywhere, regardless of culture or circumstance. If you ignore these patterns, you'll keep landing in heartbreak that tastes all too familiar. You'll find yourself repeating cycles, confusion, overgiving, resentment, walking on glass. You'll blame her, or life, or women in general. But the truth is, these dynamics run underneath, waiting for you to notice them so you can finally stand in strength and clarity instead of confusion. This is not about hating women. It's about loving reality. It's about clarity, about finally bringing light to what was hidden and gaining your choice back. Because women, deep down, don't want a man who melts to every whim. They may think they do in a moment of anxiety, but long-term their body rejects it. They're drawn to the man who can love fiercely and remain rooted in his own purpose, who can be kind but unyielding, who will not trade his spine for comfort. The goal isn't domination, it's direction. It isn't coldness, it's self-respect. It isn't control, it's composure. A woman's respect is not won by your gifts, your grand gestures, or your endless sacrifice. It's earned by your steadiness, your calm, your unwavering commitment to growth and integrity. So what do you do with all this? Start by remembering. Remember that love without direction collapses into drama. That purpose without boundaries becomes hollow sacrifice. Remember that your own center, your peace and progress, comes first, and from that, you invite her to join a life worth sharing. If you know a brother who's disappearing under the weight of trying to please, share this with him.
Men don't need another fairy tale. They need wisdom, strength, and the courage to be themselves. Because, brother, the goal was never to make her happy.
The real victory is never forgetting who you are.